It is our great honor and privilege to announce the 2020 Hall of Fame inductees. These women have demonstrated outstanding achievements in the fields of social justice, politics, academia, research, education, advocacy, and government. Generations of Iowans will look to these remarkable women as role models.
Thank you, Wendy. First, I would like to express my gratitude to the Commission for all your hard work to provide this platform that honors the vision, innovation, leadership, individuality, and tenacity of outstanding and inspirational women in Iowa and those who have championed their advancement. Today, we recognize 5 remarkable individuals who saw barriers as opportunities to bring better solutions that improves the lives of women and girls through extraordinary, essential, and enduring contributions that inspire and elevate the status of women and girls in Iowa and beyond. It is important that we ensure that history properly records women's roles and impact. This induction ceremony is a great opportunity for us to do that. It is an honor to induct each of the following remarkable women into the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame: Betty Jean DeLaVue Darden, V. Ann Fry Jorgensen, Helen Pitts Miller, and Mary Elizabeth Young Bear. We are also pleased to bestow on the late Honorable Chief Justice Mark Cady the Christine Wilson Medal for Equality and Justice. Their stories and achievements inspire and encourage us to strive for greatness, to do our best and be our best. They have rewritten history and paved the way for the next generation of leaders. Congratulations to all our honorees and the families who are accepting the award on their behalf. At this time, it is my honor to introduce Governor Kim Reynolds. As Iowa's 43rd governor, she is determined to make sure that Iowa's success is every Iowan's success, whether it's preparing Iowans for cutting-edge careers, fighting for their education, improving healthcare and mental health access, or empowering our rural communities. Governor Reynolds' priorities are making a difference in all 4 corners of the state. At age 57, the governor earned a bachelor's degree from Iowa State University. Then nearly 2 years later, on November 4th, 2018, she was elected by Iowans to become their first female governor, herself an inductee into the Iowa Women Hall of Fame. Here is Governor Kim Reynolds, who has prepared a proclamation in honor of the 45th Annual Iowa Women's Hall of Fame.
Women throughout history have made our state and our nation a more just and equitable society. This year, we commemorate 100 years since the passage of the 19th Amendment, which guaranteed women's constitutional right to vote. This landmark anniversary would not be possible without the Iowa women who advocated for all citizens to be included as decision makers at every level of government. Iowa women have carried on this legacy of leadership and advocacy with tenacity, compassion, and grace. And that's exactly the spirit we celebrate with Women's Equality Day. The equity we recognize with the Christine Wilson Medal for Equality and Justice, and the trailblazing passion we honor by inducting the 2020 class into the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame. To those being inducted, those being honored, and all of the friends and family who love them, congratulations on this remarkable achievement. And thank you for sending the positive message to our sisters, daughters, and granddaughters. Yes, you can. It's a message I'm proud to spread to all little girls and their loved ones when they come into my office by encouraging the girls to sit at my desk. Yes, you can follow your passion. Yes, you can chase your dreams. Yes, you can lead the way. And that's why it means so much to me to read and sign this proclamation with you now. Whereas the women of Iowa and the nation were granted the right to vote with ratification of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution on August 26, 1920. And in 1998, the Iowa Constitution was amended to read that all men and women are by nature free and equal and have certain inalienable rights. And whereas the state of Iowa is committed to eliminating inequalities in its laws and in its attitudes of its people, and has made significant progress in that direction, with the knowledge that we must continue to advance the efforts to ensure equal rights and opportunities for women because the value of women as politicians, business leaders, advocates, volunteers, farmers, homemakers, and workers is still not fully recognized. And whereas Betty J. Durden, V. Ann Fry Jorgensen, Helen Pitts Miller, Mary Elizabeth Young Bear, and the Honorable Chief Justice Mark Cady symbolize the diversity of Iowa, demonstrating outstanding achievements in the fields of law, academia, sports, agriculture, civil involvement, social justice, the arts, science and education, to which generations of Iowans can look to these remarkable individuals as role models. And whereas the state of Iowa affirms its commitment to the advancement of equal rights for women through the work of the Iowa Commission on the Status of Women, because the state of Iowa is dedicated to the principles of equality and fairness, which has been and continue to be an integral part of our state's foundation. Now therefore I, Kim Reynolds, Governor of the state of Iowa, do hereby proclaim August 26, 2020 as Women's Equality Day in Iowa, and urge all Iowans to consider the many contributions of women to our society and to increase their awareness of the importance of equal opportunity for all our citizens.
Hi, this is Senator Joni Ernst, your junior senator. As a member of the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame, I'm honored by the opportunity to say a special congratulations to this year's inductees. Thank you for your contributions to our state and your example to women across Iowa. Our state is blessed with so many female trailblazers, and the Women's Hall of Fame helps us honor these women. Once again, congratulations to the 2020 inductees into the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame. May God bless you all.
Welcome to the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame. The period of time spanning 2020 and 2021 has tested our resilience and has honed our ability to adapt and learn. As women and as leaders in our work, family, or community, we've experienced new heights of managing uncertainty. Our innate desire to anticipate what will happen and form a proactive response has been disrupted time and again. Today, we honor two cohorts of women inducted into the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame, and one extraordinary person receiving the Christine Wilson Medal for Equality and Justice. Their lives are examples of a steadfast commitment to resilience. In very individual ways, these women, as well as our Christine Wilson Medal honoree, have turned vulnerability and risk into success and growth. Their stories are stories for the ages, and they're also stories that really resonate at this very time. Our ceremony will begin with a video honoring our 2020 Iowa Women's Hall of Fame inductees.
Betty Jean Delavu Durden was born March 20th, 1923 in Jefferson, Iowa. She graduated from Drake University Phi Beta Kappa in 1948, even though her education was interrupted during her service in the Women Accepted for Volunteer Emergency Services during World War II. In Pensacola, Florida, is where she met and married Airman Jesse N. Durden Jr. on June 5th of 1945. As a mother at home with her 3 children, she joined the American Association of University Women, of which she was an active member for the rest of her life. She served as president of the Des Moines branch of the AAUW from 1964 to 1966. She was a delegate to the International Women's Conference in 1977 in Houston. Betty went on to serve as AAUW Iowa State President from 1984 to 1986, and in 2014, her advocacy for women and girls was honored with the presentation of the AAUW Gateway to Equity Award. Betty moved on to volunteer at the YWCA, helping women prepare to re-enter the workforce. This led to a position there as the Adult Program Director and Coordinator of Career Planning Services. She was honored in 1984 as a YWCA Woman of Achievement. In 1969, Drake University asked her to direct its new women's programs, organizing non-credit courses and group sessions for women of the community seeking to re-enter the workforce. While there, she earned her MSc in elementary school counseling in 1971. She was appointed assistant to the Dean of Continuing Education in 1973. She developed and implemented Drake's affirmative action program. In 1975, she was then named Director of Human Resources and Special Assistant to the President for Equal Opportunity Programs. In 1990, after her retirement and at the age of 69, she earned a doctorate of education in guidance counseling from Drake. She was awarded the Drake Distinguished Service Award in 1998. Governor Robert Ray asked Betty to set up a governor's commission on the status of women in Iowa in 1969. This became an official state commission in 1972 and networked with newly formed commissions in other states through the National Board of Interstate Associations of Commissions on the Status of Women, on which Betty served as a charter member. Its mission to advance women's issues included the campaign to pass the Equal Rights Amendment. Betty served as state chair of the ERA campaign in Iowa in 1992. Betty served on the boards of the Des Moines Pastoral Counseling Center, the Children and Families of Iowa, and Interfaith Alliance of Iowa, the American Association for Adult and Continuing Education, the Great Plains Regional Manpower Advisory Committee, and the Billy and Robert D. Ray Lifelong Learning Society at Drake University, now called the Ray Society, lending her expertise and experience in the area of human resources and her commitment to lifelong learning and the equality of opportunity for women and girls. She passed away on February 20th, 2017 at the age of 93. We are honored to posthumously welcome Betty Jean Delaveau Durden into the 2020 Iowa Women's Hall of Fame.
Anne Fry Jorgensen was born on September 16, 1940 in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and grew up on her family farm near Garrison, Iowa. She graduated from Garrison Consolidated High School in 1958 and then attended Iowa State College, where she studied political science. She went on to receive a Bachelor of Arts from the University of Iowa in 1962 and would continue her formal education at the Harvard Business School Ag Business Seminars. While at Iowa State, she met her husband Marlon Jorgensen. They were married on February 28th in 1961, and in 1967 they moved to Garrison to take over her parents' farm. Anne and Marlon would raise their 4 children in the same 1873 farmhouse that she grew up in. Anne and Marlon established a legal farm partnership named Georg Anna Farms. Anne's responsibility was marketing their agricultural commodities and financial management. The farm and their hog operation subsidiary Timberlane Hogs would be nationally recognized for their marketing and financial management, including being named as one of the 10 best-managed farms nationally by Farm Futures in 1983. In addition to her responsibilities in the farm business and raising their 4 children, Anne used part-time jobs to gain expertise as a tax accountant and later as a licensed commodity broker. She became a recognized national speaker on farm marketing and ag business management. She was also a columnist for nationally circulated agricultural publications. These experiences allowed her to successfully start up a mail-order business called Farm Home Offices. Her financial acumen was recognized by Iowa Farm Bureau with an appointment to the Iowa Farm Bureau Mutual Fund Board. She served as a board member and president on Iowa's only professional touring theater, the Old Creamery Theater. This would lead to an appointment to the Iowa Arts Council, which she would chair from 1978 to 1979. From there, she went on to serve in additional government boards, task forces, and agencies. These include the Iowa Board of Regents, the Iowa Alcohol Beverages Commission, the Iowa Department of Economic Development, Iowa International Trade Policy Board, European Trade Task Force, and the Iowa Supreme Court Planning Commission, among others. President Clinton appointed Anne as a member to the 3-person Farm Credit Administration Board in 1979, and later she served at U.S. Department of Agriculture under President Bush. Anne has spent much of her life advocating for women farmers, including work for wives to be considered persons in farm operations with the USDA. Anne has received several recognitions for her contributions. She was named as Iowa's Outstanding Young Woman in 1976. She and her husband were named Iowa Master Farmers in 2014. She was inducted into the Iowa Volunteer Hall of Fame in 1983 and Alpha Zeta, an agricultural honors fraternity, in 1997. In 1995, she was selected to join the Farm Foundation's Bennett Agricultural Roundtable. She was made a life member of the Farm Foundation in 2016. After retirement, Anne and Marlon moved back to the family farm. She is instrumental in development an integrated roadside vegetation management program in Benton County and served as president of the board. She has been a member of the Nature Conservancy Board for 12 years, retiring in 2019. She's a member of Bethlehem Lutheran Church and as chair of the Legacy Committee led the successful effort to establish a permanent endowment fund for the church.
We are proud to induct Helen Pitts Miller of Fort Dodge, Iowa, into the 2020 Iowa Women's Hall of Fame. Iowa State Representative Helen Pitts Miller of Fort Dodge, Iowa, completed serving her 8th and final term in the Iowa House of Representatives at the closing of 2019. Born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, Miller lived in several states and abroad before moving to Fort Dodge, Iowa in 1999. In 2002, Miller was elected to the seat in the Iowa House of Representatives, where she served on numerous committees, most notably the Economic Growth Committee, ranking member of the Agriculture Committee, and as Assistant Minority Leader and Assistant Majority Leader. Miller has over 40 years of experience in leadership as an attorney, legislator, mediator, legislative bill drafter, volunteer, arts educator, executive director of several nonprofits, and board member of numerous local and national organizations. Throughout her legislative career, she was dedicated to the economic growth of her district and the completion of U.S. Highway 20, which crosses northern Iowa. Among her legislative accomplishments, Representative Miller crafted legislation that led to the development of the Gypsum City Off-Highway Vehicle Park in Fort Dodge, the funding of fuel quality testing laboratory at the Iowa Central Community College, the construction of a new Fort Dodge community-based correctional facility, and the passage of a bipartisan resolution that focused attention on the completion of U.S. Highway 20. She is the founder and director of Helen Miller Agricultural Institute, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to educate the growing number of urban and minority legislators on agricultural issues and encourage dialogue between rural and city policymakers. She served as a non-voting legislative member of the Iowa Economic Development Authority. On the national stage, Miller has served as a member and board member of the National Black Caucus of State Legislators, the National Organization of Black Elected Legislative Women, State Agricultural Rural Leaders, and a member and chairman of the Board of Women in Government. Miller is a graduate of Leadership Iowa, the Bohe Institute for Legislative Leadership Development, and the Toll Fellowship Program. She is also a Rotary International Paul Harris Fellow, a member of the Links Incorporated, and the Iowa Bar Association. Miller received the Herbert Hoover Uncommon Service Award to honor legislative public servants for service work and humanitarian projects. She has been recognized with colleagues as the Outstanding Leadership Group. Helen Miller received the State Government Affairs Council Leadership Award, honored by Polk County Women Attorneys with Willie Stevenson Glanton Award, was inducted into the Iowa African American Hall of Fame and received the National Black Caucus of State Legislators Lifetime Achievement Award. Helen Miller is known for her commitment to work in a bipartisan fashion, and it is demonstrated when, in 2019, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds appointed Miller to the chair, the Iowa Board of Parole. We are proud to welcome Helen Miller.
Mary Elizabeth Youngbear was born on November 10, 1959. Her parents, Ernestine Roberts and George Youngbear Jr., were both born and raised on the Meskwaki settlement near Tama, Iowa. All of Mary's ancestors have been Iowa residents for centuries. When Mary was 8 years old, her grandmother, Elizabeth S. Roberts, showed her how to do a basic applique stitch using seed beads. It was at this time Mary began her fascination and passion for beadwork, not knowing how to make anything in particular. Mary is mostly a self-taught artist who can fabricate a magnificent array of regalia items using age-old techniques and a variety of materials such as leather and animal skins, feathers, ribbon, shells, beads, metal buttons, cloth, yarn, and plant fibers. As a talented and inventive artist, Mary Youngbear offers a distinctive vision in her work, whether drawing, painting, printmaking, or creating beadwork.
Importance of recognition like the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame. I think it's important because of the significance it has among Iowa women of the past, present, and future. It's also a way to inspire women of all ages to accomplish their goals in life. There are so many things I could say about my mom, all of the hard work my mom has done for my siblings and myself. She's taught me how to cook and how to bead, and one of the things she has instilled in me is to always help whenever you can. Help people even when they can't help you back. My mom goes above and beyond to help anyone in need, anyone that asks for help, anything from beading and sewing for ceremonies to cooking and helping for local fundraisers. I've never heard her turn anyone away. Her work at the museum is outstanding, and it's something she should be proud of, because I know I am very proud of her and her work. My mom is a big advocate for women on all matters, especially women on the Meskwaki settlement. She strongly believes that all women should be treated as equals.
Family the most. I think one of her biggest accomplishments would be shaping the Meskwaki Tribal Museum to what it is today. She put a lot of time and work into making it how it is, and she still continues to make it better.
Mary Youngbear's point of view helps guide the future of the Meskwaki tribe as they strive to attain key goals in the preservation and continuation of tribal heritage. Those outside her world can see how her work leads to collective achievement for her community, thus elevating the status of young girls and women, and inspiring others by example. Within her sphere, she is regarded as a preeminent leader who frequently represents the Meskwaki tribe in non-native settings, broadening our understanding of Iowa's only resident tribal nation.
I think what she brings, to the state of Iowa, I think, is that knowledge and that enlightenment of the Meskwakis and how we relate to the outside world and how we can help the big world with some of the insights that we have that have been passed down over the years.
I think her vision for girls and women is to learn how to be more independent, and for women in the tribe to have equality and more opportunities like the men. Congratulations. I'm really proud of you, and I love you.
The question is, what do you think is the importance of recognition events like the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame? For me, the recognition is an unforeseen factor for work that's been done over the course of many years. It's never anticipated or planned for. The recognition comes with gratitude and with humility. I accept this honor on behalf of my family, my parents, my grandparents, my children, and my grandchildren. It's because of all of them that I always feel motivated to work hard and always make things better. I always look for ways to improve any situation.
Mark Cady was appointed to the Iowa Supreme Court in 1998 by former Iowa Governor Terry E. Branstad. But prior to his appointment to the state Supreme Court, Mark Cady served in the Iowa Court of Appeals. Chief Justice Cady of Fort Dodge was elevated to the Supreme Court in 1998 until his untimely death in 2019. In 2011, he became the Chief Justice of the court, being nominated by his peers. Justice Cady wrote the landmark opinion in Varnum versus Bryan, a 2009 ruling that legalized same-sex marriage in Iowa, and at the time was only one of 3 states nationally to do so. Because of that decision, a robust recall effort ensued, and Iowa voters removed 3 of the 4 judges. Mark Cady survived the recall effort and was later elevated to Chief Justice. During his final State of the Judiciary remarks in 2019 to the Iowa legislature, Justice Cady emphasized common sense ideas, such as digital opportunities for law enforcement, including text messages to defendants to remind them of their court dates, and electronically filed search warrants. He was passionate about bringing the court system into view for the general public, and he instituted what could only be termed as the Supreme Court Traveling Roadshow, with sessions and meetings, hearings and cases being held in all 4 corners of the state. The popular way of bringing courts to the people solidified Justice Cady as just a regular guy, someone who didn't change just because he changed into a robe. Chief Justice Mark Cady was born in Rapid City, South Dakota, and he earned his undergraduate and law degrees from Drake University, serving later as a judicial law clerk for the 2nd Judicial District of Iowa. He was then appointed as an assistant Webster County attorney and practiced with a law firm in Fort Dodge. In the 1980s, Chief Justice Mark Cady was appointed a district associate judge and later a district court judge. In 1994, he was appointed to the Iowa Court of Appeals, and 3 years later was appointed Chief Judge of the Court of Appeals. Chief Justice Cady was a member of the Iowa Bar Association, the American Bar Association, the Iowa Judges Association, and the Iowa Academy of Trial Lawyers. He also served as chair of the Supreme Court's Task Force on the Courts and Communities' Response to Domestic Abuse, and was a member of the Drake Law School Board of Counselors. In 2013, Chief Justice Mark Cady was elected to the Conference of Chief Justices Board of Directors. He served on that board and chaired its committee on courts, children, and families. Chief Justice Mark Cady had a passion for education, serving as an adjunct faculty member at Buena Vista University and serving on its President's Advisory Council, receiving an honorary doctorate degree in public service from Buena Vista University. He is also a recipient of the Outstanding Alumnus Award from Drake University Law School, receiving the Alumni Achievement Award. Chief Justice Mark Cady is survived by his wife Rebecca, 2 adult children, and 3 grandchildren at the time of his death in 2019. Said former Chief Justice and Hall of Fame member Marcia Turnus, his inherent kindness and respect for others guided his conduct on the bench as much as it guided his conduct off the bench. He was, quite simply, the nicest guy you could ever hope to meet. It is with great pride that the Iowa Commission on the Status of Women bestows this great honor of the Christine Wilson Medal for Equality and Justice to Mark Cady. Hello, my name is Cheryl Wisenand, and I'm a commissioner with the Iowa Commission on the Status of Women. I also am chairperson of the 2021 Iowa Women's Hall of Fame Committee. It's my pleasure to welcome you today to our 2021 virtual celebration. The Commission is looking forward to recognizing our 2020 and our 2021 designees when we are able to gather again in person. Until then, we're also pleased to present our 2021 inductees by virtual video. These 4 women have each been a catalyst, a spark that has created extraordinary results, not only as individuals, but a guiding light for others to follow. Enjoy our program.
Cornelia Clark emerged as an outstanding nature photographer at a time when few women published photographs in scientific journals, newspapers, and popular science magazine. Cornelia was the only child born to Ray and Cornelia Shepard on July 4, 1884. Her mother died within hours of her birth, and her grandmother moved in to take care of baby Cornelia. As an only child, Cornelia occupied herself with the animals and plants she found around the farmstead. But these early experiences with nature were crucial to her lifelong interest in nature and her ability to photograph it. Cornelia Clark attended Grinnell schools, graduating in 1904 and later enrolling at Grinnell College. Cornelia spent most of 1906 traveling in Europe with her father and photographing her travels. After returning to Iowa, she completed her degree in 1909. Cornelia Clark learned photography fundamentals early by borrowing her father's camera and gradually developing her skill. During college, she photographed for many official campus publications, but was never given an attribution or acknowledgement. Cornelia also began to photograph her pets, including 2 cats, which she trained to wear clothing and adopt the human habits, all of which she effectively converted to film. The film was first published in Country Life in America, then later in a 1912 volume, Peter and Polly. She's a serious nature photographer whose pictures appeared regularly in publications like Nature magazine, with 62 photographs between 1925 and 1939, and Science newsletter using Clark photos for its cover. No longer relying upon clever or cute photographs, Clark used her growing camera skills to reveal the secrets of biological process, as when she documented the life history of the mosquito or the stages of butterfly generation. Collaborating with Grinnell College professors, Henry Conard gave her occasion to produce images of great scientific accuracy and volume, and where she founded and volunteered. At the height of her career, Clark was regularly publishing photographs in countless publications: the Des Moines Register, the Detroit Free Press, the Los Angeles Times, and the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, among other newspapers. Specialty journals such as American Photography and Photo Era regularly published her images in the 1920s. She also provided photographs for a series of children's books written by Edith M. Patch, Holiday Meadow, Holiday Pond, and Holiday Hill, and did the same for two of Bertha Stevens' nature books aimed at children, Child and Universe, and The Child Goes Forth. Cornelia Clark, on the other hand, left behind a prodigious archive, including some 3,300 glass plate negatives, nearly as many prints, and an array of photographic equipment. Operating from home, like many of her female peers, Clark chose not to make her mark in studio photography. In a profession dominated by men, Clark's enormous success helped smooth the path for women photographers who followed her. One of the ironies of Clark's success is that her legacy came under the control of a man who used it and then abandoned it, depriving Clark of the credit. When she died in 1936 at age 52, Clark bequeathed her entire collection of glass plate negatives and prints to her friend and an occasional collaborator at Grinnell College, Henry Conard. Conard used the photographs in research and teaching, and when he left Grinnell, Conard took Clark's photographic legacy with him. Over the next decade, Conard continued his research at the University of Iowa and continued to use Clark's photography. But when he retired, he left behind all of Clark's negatives and prints. Cornelia Clark was undeniably a most talented photographer who helped pioneer the path for women professionals in 20th century Iowa. Above and beyond her skills as a photographer, Cornelia Clark had a long history of supporting education, locally, nationally, and internationally. Locally, Clark was a lifelong supporter of her alma mater, Grinnell College, and co-founded the college's herbarium, which now houses over 25,000 specimens. Clark serves as a reminder that Iowa women of achievement who lived in the past can easily be overlooked. So we need to rediscover and celebrate those who sometimes silently contributed to human knowledge, particularly if they teach us about our own state and environment. Cornelia Clark stands out for the role she played as an assistant to Professor Henry S. Conard of Grinnell College. She represents an era when women who sought academic careers in the sciences were often denied the opportunity to become fully fledged faculty members or professors in fields dominated by men. Clark's talents as a photographer and artist demonstrated extreme patience, working with complicated, time-consuming photographic methods. Her curious mind and innate love of plants and flowers resulted in an unparalleled collection. She created significant changes in scientific research and new interpretations about our natural world. At the time, she documented plant diversity no longer present or possibly threatened by rapid change and disappearing wild spaces. Cornelia Clark, photographer, innovator, but most of all, deserving trailblazer. I have the pleasure of introducing Cornelia Clark's award nominator, who researched and authored the nomination for Cornelia Clark, Professor of History Emeritus at Grinnell College and Secretary to the Board of Grinnell Historical Museum, Daniel Kaiser.
On behalf of the Grinnell Historical Museum and in Cornelia Clark's stead, I am pleased to accept this induction of Cornelia Clark into the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame. I thank the selection committee and the several recommenders of her nomination for helping us bring this extraordinary woman's photographic career to public attention, decades after Clark's early and most unfortunate death. We owe special thanks to Mary Bennett of the State Historical Society of Iowa, who who rescued from oblivion 1,100 of Clark's glass plate negatives now housed in the Iowa City Archive. Unfortunately, the fate of another 2,200 of her negatives remains unknown, and I very much hope that Clark's induction will attract attention to and perhaps help us recover and rescue this lost legacy of a pioneering Iowa nature photographer. I am sad that Clark herself is not here to witness this recognition of her accomplishments, but I and my colleagues at the Grinnell Historical Museum are thrilled to see Cornelia Clark join other accomplished women in the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rochelle Hunt Russian. I am the Vice Chairman of the Iowa Commission on the Status of Women. I'd like to introduce to you Jan Mitchell. 15 years ago, Jan Mitchell had a vision to empower the Latina youth, whom she served in her classroom, setting them up to have greater opportunity for lifelong success. It is what one would expect from an innovative Iowa educator and collaborative leader for 38 years. Jan Mitchell believed in reaching, not just teaching her students. She is a Marshalltown native and high school graduate, earned a BA degree from Westmar College in Le Mars, and a master's degree from the University of Northern Colorado at Greenlee. She is an active member of PEO, Toastmasters, City Loft Book Club, and the American Association of University Women. Her active and productive life has been rewarded by the community and her peers. She is a recipient of the Iowa After School Innovator Award, the Robert D. Ray Award for Equity and Justice, the Distinguished Service Award, and countless education awards on a state, national, and international level. But it is Jan Mitchell's tenacity, clarity of what a teacher should be, and to have the desire to share her passion for education. Jan has said she came from a service to others family where they all use their energies for positive change. As an innovative Iowa educator, Jan Mitchell said, and I quote, "We have to start where they are," unquote. When people asked her if she had children, she would answer yes, over 8,000. She served as an English teacher, mock trial, debate, and speech coach. She was attracted to international involvement of the Marshalltown Sisters City organization in the late 1980s, hosting delegates from Russia and Japan, and being a delegate to Russia, where she was the education representative to negotiate the agreement between the Marshalltown School District and the Bunonovsk schools. She returned to Russia under the United States Department of Education to train the Russian teachers. In 1997, she was awarded the Iowa Teacher of the Year Award and was one of the finalists for the National Teacher of the Year. She developed and taught strategic teaching for online learning, a graduate course for teachers using web-based conferencing environment. Known as a teacher trainer, Jan Mitchell participated in school-to-work internships to better equip her students to serve and to be self-aware and be employable. In retirement, Jan has served as an educator for several school districts and programs. In 2006, Jan Mitchell had a vision to empower Latina youth that she served in her classrooms to have greater opportunity for lifelong success. She launched the Latinas Al Éxito mentorship program with the goal of changing a status quo. Jan Mitchell envisioned a better community through the Latino experience and excellence. Jan has been a tireless leader in growing the first program for a good future and that a model to spread to other communities. Jan expanded the program, bringing boys as a separate program. Thus, the Latinas and Latinos al Éxito became the name for the new nonprofit. Later, the tag name became Al Éxito. Because Jan Mitchell's vision and work to change the status quo of Latina and Latino students, over 600 Latino and Latina youth and their families get programming that builds their leadership potential through college preparation, career development, civic engagement, family support, and celebration of culture. For the first time in 2017, 5 communities across Iowa had Latino and Latina youth represented at their county fair parades, homecoming floats and activities, and community celebrations representing Al Éxito. Latino and Latina's profile has been exponentially elevated because of Jan Mitchell saw a need to elevate Latino and Latina youth in her school and community.
What an honor to be able to speak to you today about my selection for the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame. Looking through the list of past honorees, I see so many names of those whose historically significant actions have impacted women and Iowa. I am in awe of so many of them and would never have guessed that my name would be among them. I was thinking of this as I looked at a framed piece of art that I own that shows a big butterfly net filled with butterflies, 2 of which are flying out into the air. The artist, Paula Schutte Kramer, has titled the piece, "Letting the Butterflies Go." We learned as children that there are 3 stages of the development of a butterfly: the caterpillar, the cocoon, and then the butterfly. So it is, I suggest, with the development of ideas. There's a kind of crawling around, just existing with nothing special going on, until something changes and wraps around one's brain before flying out to make something happen. My involvements with others have generally begun with initiating an idea and then processing together to consider the possibilities. With groups of people, dialogue is important, listening and improving the ideas until the group develops a plan that can take off, flying out of the net, and like the butterflies which help pollinate flowers, fruits, and vegetables, the idea becomes action that can impact others. I consider my honor today a recognition of the achievements of those that I have worked with. I think of the good done by my former students in their adult lives, of the work and influence of community connections in Alameda County, of my partners when navigating new territory while teaching teachers to teach online more than a decade and a half ago, and the amazing development of the nonprofit Al Éxito, which we began in Marshalltown with one group of 8th grade Latinas in 2006, and now has grown to serve not hundreds, but thousands of Latinx students in Iowa. Drake University Community Press published a book about the origins of the organization and the stories of the people involved in it. Although I was a part of the process of each of these projects, others who carried on each of these endeavors are really the ones who have achieved. How does one make an impact? Begin with a dialogue and develop a plan together. Then it's about letting the butterflies go and see what happens. Thank you to the Iowa Commission of the Status of Women for what you do for women and for Iowa, and all the good that comes from it.
2021 celebrates an amazing 100-year story for Donna Reed. Her Oscar-winning film career and her pioneering work in television are only part of her legacy. Through her life as an actor, an entrepreneur, a peace activist, and working mother, Donna Reed raised a high bar for women everywhere with solid Iowa values and progressive visionary ambition. Donna Bella Mullinger was born near Denison in 1921, the oldest of 5 children for Hazel and William Mullinger. Like many Iowa farm kids, Donna farmed with her family, milking cows and harvesting corn while helping to watch over her younger siblings. The droughts and economic hardships of the 1930s brought terrible challenges to Iowa. Personal dreams took a back seat to family survival. Well, curiosity and learning were always important to Donna. A lifelong reader and accomplished student, she graduated in the top 10 of her Denison High School class of 1938. Finding funds for college after high school seemed impossible for most students during the Great Depression era. Chances to work and save were scarce. However, when her Aunt Mildred wrote about affordable secretarial and radio courses at Los Angeles City College, Donna sprang at the opportunity to build her own path to college. With encouragement from her family, Donna bravely traveled far away to set her future in motion. Donna worked hard for her studies in Los Angeles. While there, she expanded her radio classes to include drama work and other opportunities across campus. Soon, she was getting noticed and was elected campus queen for Los Angeles City College. Her front page photo in the Los Angeles Times newspaper drew immediate offers from talent scouts and agents. Ever practical, however, Donna chose to finish her coursework before signing an 8-year contract with MGM Studios in 1941. Almost overnight, Donna's acting career was on its way. By the time she was 25, Donna had performed in 20 movies and would go on to perform in more than 40 films. Her extensive movie work includes classics such as The Picture of Dorian Gray with Angela Lansbury, They Were Expendable with John Wayne, and The Benny Goodman Story with Steve Allen. Donna's 1946 holiday classic, It's a Wonderful Life, remains one of her signature favorites. In the iconic film, she was Mary Bailey, a woman who rolled up her sleeves to build the life she wanted with the man she chose to love, George Bailey, played by Jimmy Stewart. The 1953 war epic From Here to Eternity with Burt Lancaster and Frank Sinatra was an award-winning blockbuster. Donna Reed received Best Supporting Actress honors for her role as Alma Burke, a social club prostitute linked to the tragic hero. Donna fought hard for this realistic character, considered by the studio outside her type. Over time, she became increasingly frustrated by the lack of meaningful roles for women. A lifelong learner with years of professional insight, she was determined to find a better way to reach this need. The new medium of television was the answer. Launching her own production company with her husband, Tony Owen, she achieved independence over her career. Her new vehicle, The Donna Reed Show, was a family sitcom launched in 1958. The hit show ran for 275 episodes spanning 8 seasons on ABC. To the world, Donna portrayed a stay-at-home mom. In real life, she was a working mother who strived to balance a family with 4 young children, a family-owned production company, and a starring role on her own hit TV show. From the very start, Donna was determined to tell stories from a woman's perspective. She insisted on the lead female character having a strong personality who approached situations positively. Donna and Tony hired the best writers and directors of the day. For example, actress-director Ida Lupino, one of the only women directing television at the time, directed a second-season episode. The sitcom's progressive storylines explored themes of single parenting, gender equality, interracial marriage, adoption, and addiction, all within an American family context. Along with Lucille Ball, Donna Reed was a pioneering female executive who championed an equitable environment for classic television. At the close of her TV series in 1966, the world was in social and political turmoil. Witnessing the injustices of the Great Depression and the hardships of World War II, Donna found her heart sensitized to the role of women as advocates for change. Already civic-minded from years as a volunteer and humanitarian, Donna helped create the nonpartisan movement called Another Mother for Peace. The cause was designed to support universal peace and civil rights. Donna Reed worked tirelessly to help inspire a singular voice for change, a need by all mothers for lasting peace. Well, today, the legacy of Donna Reed continues into the next century with the Donna Reed Foundation for the Performing Arts in Denison. Donna's organization serves to connect and promote creative excellence for Iowans and fans everywhere. During her lifetime, Donna Reed touched many lives with her integrity, courtesy, equity, and humanity. Like her holiday classic, It's a Wonderful Life, life is about connections and choices. Her own inspired choices are timeless. For Iowa women like myself, the legacy of Donna Reed lifts us to be better, kinder, and more committed to each other. In life and in character, Donna always spoke truth to power. We are proud to see our Donna Reed join her peers in the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm here at the Donna Reed Theater in Mom's hometown in Denison, Iowa, to celebrate these distinguished women from Iowa. Thank you also to the Iowa Commission for the Status of Women. My mother would be so thrilled to be receiving this honor and to be included alongside Dr. Roxanne Ryan, Cornelia Clark, and Jan Mitchell. Congratulations to all the inductees. My mother stayed deeply connected to her home state, and as a youngster, I spent summers in Denison, staying with my Aunt Sandy and Uncle Bill Mullinger, playing freely and unencumbered with my cousins. This was a far cry from daily life in Beverly Hills, where I grew up. My mother was very careful not to let us kids be spoiled by money or by her fame. She has left us with a distinguished film career and a lasting contribution to the television industry. As an early trailblazer for women in television, I can't help but think her experiences growing up on a 500-acre family farm where work was shared equally between siblings made it easy for Mom to hire women writers and directors for the Donna Reed Show. Now her entire archive, which includes both her film and television career and her Academy Award, have a permanent home in Denison at the Donna Reed Foundation. Please visit us at donnareed.org to find out more. I grew up during the time of the Donna Reed Show. Mom remarked at how she was up before dawn doing chores on the farm, and how with her own TV show, she managed to be up before dawn too, driving to the studio. It has taken a long while for my mother to be seen as modern and ahead of her time, as I always saw her growing up. And on behalf of my siblings and myself, we're so pleased to finally get this recognition on the centenary of her birth. She left us all greatness, a heritage of love, emotional stability, caring, and doing something about what she thought was right. Towards the end of her life, as she battled against cancer, I have an unfinished letter which she states that she was fighting in her best Iowa tradition. It's a long way from the Mullinger 500-acre farm in Crawford County to Hollywood and back to the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame. Thank you.
I always dreamed of being a teacher, so I loved school. My mom was a teacher and she was an absolutely wonderful teacher. So I really enjoyed school and studied hard and enjoyed all of the classes that I had. And I had some really outstanding teachers when I was here in Cresco.
It's always been great to have Roxanne as my sister because she's been a great resource. People know her all the time in school. Teachers knew that, oh, that's your older sister. Well, I think you'll do well then. We expect great things from you.
We all know Roxanne because of her mom and dad. Roxanne's mom, Elsie, worked at the chamber here for many, many years. She started the Santa Parade here in Cresco. So two great people obviously are going to bring forth 4 great kids. And one of them is Roxanne. And we are so proud. She is among some of the most impressive people in Cresco.
I've written a lot of the statutes that appear in the Iowa Code and developed a lot of innovative programs while I was at the Attorney General's office. I was able to work with some really amazing, talented people while I was there, and became the Deputy Attorney General for Criminal Justice, the first person to fill that position when Bonnie Campbell was Attorney General, and we focused a great deal on policy. After I finished my PhD, I stayed at the Attorney General's office until there was a full-time opening at Simpson College, and I taught full-time at Simpson College in the criminal justice program, where I had planned to stay for my entire career, but they were looking for a strategic intelligence analyst at the Department of Public Safety. I then moved to the in-house attorney position and had the opportunity to be the commissioner of the Department of Public Safety for 4 years, and was able to retire and come back to Cresco to take care of my parents, who were in their later years and needed some help at home. So it turned out to be an amazing career with lots of great opportunities and people who helped me all the way along to be able to try things that I didn't think that I could do, that turned out to be innovative and interesting and challenging. Everywhere that I've gone, I've been able to find good mentors, and I've also been able to serve as a mentor for a lot of people, which I think is really important. When you have somebody who is on your side as you're making difficult decisions and doing difficult things, it makes it seem a little bit easier, even if it's not. And the successes mean more, and the failures seem more manageable when you have somebody else that you know that you can count on to help you out and give you advice. I was able to be involved in a lot of innovative programs. For example, with the Bar Association in the late 1990s, we developed a strategic plan for the 2000s so that we could think ahead about what it was that lawyers would need to do and how things were going to change in the legal profession. I also was able to work on the Sexually Violent Predator Civil Commitment Program in Iowa, which was a fairly controversial program, but I was relieved and very pleased that the way that the program was run in Iowa was focused on genuine treatment of sex offenders, with the idea that when they showed progress, they would be able to be released safely into the community.
We have some really impressive people that grew up in Northeast Iowa, and Cresco calls home to all of them. So congratulations, Roxanne. We are super proud here in Cresco, Iowa.
Congratulations to my sister on being inducted into the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame.
I want to say thank you to the Iowa Commission on the Status of Women and the Iowa Department of Human Rights for the induction into the Iowa Women's Hall of Fame. And I also want to give thanks to Governor Reynolds and Lieutenant Governor Gregg for their support for this program. It means a great deal to me, and it means a great deal to other women who want to make a difference in Iowa.